gonna hit record. Okay. So before I start, I'm just gonna give a quick introduction about you, and then we can go and start. All right. So today, to celebrate the release of the deep mix of our collaboration, "Given to the Sun," I have a very special guest, a good friend, Jaren Surf, on the show with me. Hi. And there's a quick introduction about herself. She's an American, Canadian songwriter, singer, most recognized for her work with artists such as Armin van Buuren and her track "Man on the Run," which is with Matt Surf and Tiska. We have also worked on multiple projects together since 2016, such as Ever After under her alias Fenya, and also Heart, and the latest one, which is Given to the Sun. She also co-wrote songs with Canadian artists such as Michelle Tracy and has released her folk or acoustic albums since her career started, dated back in 2006, and has appeared in multiple TV shows, wrote a book, and there's a lot more going on in her life. So welcome to the show, Jaren. How are you?
Thank you, son. How are you, my friend?
I mean, COVID happened, so it's been
exactly
the way it is. So I remember my introduction to your voice goes back in 2006, 2007. I don't think you know this, actually. When I heard your track, Unforgivable with Armin at a lounge in Bangladesh, that was the first time I heard about you. And then, of course, blasting Man on the Run in the clubs, dancing to your tracks all the time. Definitely fell in love with your voice.
Oh, thank you.
And then, when I started producing full-time after moving to Canada back in 2012, I thought, why not give it a shot, request a collaboration with you. So I reached out to Matt, and then we became good friends, and the rest of it is history. Writing songs over a bottle of whiskey at my old pad. And
yes,
whatnot.
oh my gosh. Yes.
So what's new in Jaren's life?
Oh my gosh, all kinds of things. I mean, yeah, 2020 has been a bit of a roller coaster, I think, for a lot of people, for obvious reasons. I have sort of decided to wind down everything that I was doing because, like you said, I had like a book going on. I was working also doing creative direction for companies and still writing and I was trying to do so many things because that's genuinely where my interests were.
Yeah.
And then 2020 happened and I was like, I don't feel like doing any of this. Not because I want to be mean or because I'm trying to poo-poo on the like music industry or anything. I just like needed to actually, I'm going to take a line from one of Michelle Tracy, who you just mentioned. She has a new song out called Taking Some Time Off, or Time Off from a Letdown, I think is what it's called. And there's this great line, I'm taking some time off. And that was for me the same thing. 2020 happened and I was like, whoop, and I just closed shop. For mental health reasons too, because there were so many things going on. And I wanted to find out, like, really, what do I want to do? I've always had an interest in acting and I've been fortunate enough to do a little bit of that over the years. But this year I really wanted to try doing some voiceover work for like commercials and ads. And also that also sort of came from like when I did my book, I also did an audible version of it, like an audiobook. So being in the studio and actually getting to voice something was like, wow, this is a different sense of freedom than I've had before. That's unlike, it's not the same as singing or writing. It's like, it's really different, but like where singing and writing is more personal for me, voiceover can be more playful and light and stuff. And right now in 2020, I need playful and light. So I started that career and it has taken off and it has been super fun. And that is literally the only thing that I've been doing this year is voiceover stuff pretty much.
I mean, we love your voice, so that's
thank you.
And you said something about the mental, like the health. Is it like, are you part of like an organization? Tell us a little bit about that.
No, just some mental health stuff for myself personally, because since 2000 and it's actually since Matt Surf, who's also still one of my best friends in life. And we still work on things. We advise each other on music stuff. Since we split and had to start living on our own terms and stuff, I went through a phase of like suffering from real depression and anxiety, like really bad. And then when I was 31, I was diagnosed with like moderately severe to severe ADHD. And so I was trying to work through all of that and figure out, okay, well, you know, when you're living on your own and you're sort of starting over, what do you prioritize in your life? How do you want to live your life? And so I think I was asking myself too many questions about who I want to be as a person, as an artist, or whatever, as myself, I guess, that I just got really overwhelmed, and I started really having a lot of anxiety attacks and depression and stuff like that. And that was not a fun period. But I, fortunately, and one thing I love about living here in Canada, and especially in Quebec, I don't know how it is in other provinces, obviously, because I haven't lived there. But we have really awesome, like, social, like, help services. So if you're ever feeling really bad, you can call like different like social workers or crisis hotlines and things like that, or therapists.
Yeah, actually, we do have that here in Toronto too. Because like I can relate to you, because I actually did had a lot of I mean, almost kind of like traumatic depression and like anxiety.
Yeah, I remember you went through a phase where like we were talking back and forth, and I'm like, God, are you okay?
Yeah, it was last year. I mean, definitely got out of it, because I actually went for therapy for that too. And musicians,
that's good.
Yeah, I know a lot of musicians are like dig even deeper hole through, like, you know, recreational drugs and stuff, but being able to get it out of it was like a big thing. So now I'm like, to be honest with you, like I quit my full-time job last year was like the biggest thing that actually let me release all my stress, because it was getting too hectic to like kind of juggle between multiple things. So yeah, I mean, mental health is a serious business, so I'm glad that you're able to cope up with that too. And
me too, man. I agree with what you said too. Like I was also at the height of when I was having it, was also trying to work full time too, and doing all these other things. At just some point, it just gets to be too much. It's like, no, I'm not being efficient in my life. I'm not doing what I want to do right now. You know, now, effectively.
I mean, like how you were saying about, like, you know, Canadians. Oh, there she is.
Hi.
Hi.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
She's also a budding singer and writing songs too. I told her, like,
that's awesome.
You guys should connect, and I'm pretty sure you can actually help her out with that.
Excellent. Yeah, find me on Instagram. That's the only place I'm on anymore.
I'm not on anywhere. Comment or something.
Say that again. Sorry,
I'm already following you on Instagram. I'll like reach out.
Oh yeah, do it. Excellent.
Cool.
Awesome.
Okay, bye. Nice
to
meet you.
Oh, nice.
So going back to the mental part of it, what I was telling is that us living in Canada, I think we're a little bit privileged when it comes to mental health. I feel like.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yes.
Even
we are completely privileged up here.
Yeah, even with the COVID, how it happened, I feel like our country, like, I feel great to be actually being Canadian. It's like almost like lucky to be a Canadian, because a lot of other countries are not that privileged to deal with this.
No, I feel blessed about it. I have these conversations a lot with my American friends and family and stuff too. You know, asking, they come from a place of general like curiosity. Sorry, my old garden machine is making a lot of noise here. Do you see? This is my indoor garden.
Nice.
It keeps making some noise in the background. Sorry, it sounds like.
Is like all the herbs and stuff you're making?
Yeah. Well, I can grow anything. Lettuce. I have tomatoes going. The whole thing. Nice. Actually, gardening has helped with my mental health stress as well. I find if I'm cultivating or taking care of something, like having the cats also, then that helped me to get out of it. But I'm talking with my American friends and family about, you know, not. Like I have like a weight lifted off my shoulder living up here, because I know if I really need services or whatever, they're here. It's something. And I never felt that when I lived in the US, based on where I was living, obviously. But yeah, I feel super privileged to be here, like super privileged to be here. I thank my lucky stars every single day.
Awesome. Yeah, I think I like that fact. We are the luckiest, like the country is the lucky star for us.
Yeah,
totally. So I was just gonna go back on our track. So earlier this year, I thought we were long due for like a follow-up for the track Hurt, which is still one of our most talked about track. People still ask for that track. So we wrote Given to the Sun, and I remember the process was so quick. I sent you an instrumental, and the next day you sent me like a draft version, and that was it. Like, it was very quick. So for me, the track was more, you know, I just wanted to do something a little bit different and edgy than like the trance that people actually know about. What was your story behind writing the track Given to the Sun?
I mean, for me, anytime I'm writing anything, usually it's because I'm using sort of like an intuitive, I don't know, it's a combination of listening to the music, taking whatever I'm going through in life or whatever I know somebody else is going through, and then just sort of like being like an open channel and being like, okay, let's see what happens. And in the last couple of years, especially, it's been really difficult for me to write music. I haven't felt inspired. I've been disconnected from it for whatever reason. I think it's just a growth and transformation, and it doesn't mean I'll be away from it forever by any means. But I remember when you sent me this, it's like, there are only like a handful of producers that I work with or that I worked with in the past where it like, I listened to it once and it's like, oh, okay, this is what it needs to be, or this is how it happens. It doesn't need to be anything, but just, this is how it happens. And then it just, and then I record something quickly and I go, how about this? But this year, like I said, it takes so much energy out of me to write for some reason. So that's something that I'm sort of investigating a little bit to sort of find out why, where has that spark gone, but also not judging it too much either, because things have cycles, and maybe this is just like a down cycle, and maybe I'll come back to this in a big way at another time. I don't know. But yeah, that was just, I think, a culmination of what I think you and I were both sort of going through at that time, individually, knowing that we had all of this weight on our shoulders, and then it just sort of popped through.
Yeah, I remember even the track Heart when we wrote, it was like, we both were on the same kind of like,
oh yeah, we were going through like the same
book, same book on different page, I guess, like going through a similar situation, and then we were talking about how much struggling in the life we were going through at that time. And one thing I actually do, not just you, when I write tracks, I try to figure out like what is your most comfortable key that you sing.
Oh yeah. I remember you had asked me, what range?
Did that. Yeah, like the range, and it's easier for like, the vocalist that you work with. And this is for any producers out there. It's like when you work with a vocalist, the easiest thing to do is like, instead of writing a track like you want to write a track on the vocal range for that particular person.
Find their range. That's something that took me way too long to learn, because I remember when I was living in LA for 10 years or 9 years, whatever, I had been working with a bunch of vocalists. At that time I was coaching a lot of vocalists, but I was coaching them using instrumentals that we had already received from that we had received from like other producers and stuff. So I didn't necessarily have the chance to go to these particular producers, because there was a middleman giving me the work and say, hey, do you mind changing the key? Because sometimes you'd get something be like, we want a girl to sing on this. And I'm like, okay, but this fits like a dude's range real easily. But it doesn't fit like a girl's range real easily, unless you want me to sound like I'm like scream singing, or I'm sounding like too low. I remember we had a lot of challenges with that. But yeah, to find somebody's that buttery range where things really work is that's a good thing to do first, straight out of the gates.
Yeah.
Good job.
I remember you were, thank you. I remember you were saying to me when we were talking about to do this interview that you are taking a break on the industry for the music. Tell us a little bit about that. Why taking a break?
Yeah, this is this comes from being a woman over the age of 30 with kids. Sorry. Yay. Funny. Okay, so I'm sitting in my apartment, in the front. I have these 2 giant windows. And I have the friendliest mailman in the universe. He's super cool. Nice. And he can just see right in and see that I'm sitting here. And he came up earlier, that's why I waved, and he was like showing me, like, I've got the mail here, I'm putting it in here. And then he realized there was another piece, so he came back and he went like this, and he read it, and he saw that it's a check, probably from my voiceover work, and he goes, nice. Funny guy. So yeah, anyways, I went through like a real up and down being a woman over the age of 30 in the music industry. And like trance music especially is like a really niche market. And the one thing that I appreciate especially about dance music is that it generally doesn't seem to be like, of all of sort of, not of all, but like of many of the main music industries, it is the least judgmental about your age, you know, your gender, what you look like, any of that. It's like music is music, and it's a celebration of just art. And
Right.
I love that. But I remember when I was pregnant with my daughter, I hid it until I was like really showing, like 7 months pregnant or something. And then I lost gigs after that. And I remember my phone stopped ringing.
Yeah.
And I got really pissed off about that. And then the second, when I was pregnant with my son, same thing. I remember I was meeting a producer in France, and the goal was to try to hide the fact that I was 4 months pregnant. I didn't want them knowing, because I didn't want that to affect whether or not I was going to get the work. And I found that incredibly stressful. But eventually I got back into it. I was writing pop music here when both my kids were like, I would take them to like the gardery, drop them off, and go do a session, and then like come back. But there was no interest in me being a recording artist from any of these people anymore. It was just like, oh, you're a songwriter now. And I had heard so much from so many people, managers, executives, in the beginning, talking about women over the age of like 25 that were in the industry, and referring to them as, well, she has a decision to make. She had kids, so she obviously doesn't really care enough about her career. And I think I just got like a little bit too pissed off about that. And so my way of coping with that was just by like shutting down and like sort of cutting off my nose to spite my face a bit. And then after the separation, that was like, Matt and I we've been around for 15 years. And so that was an entire chunk. That was like my entire adult life, basically, at that point, coming to an end, or so I thought. It was just transforming into something different, but it felt like there was a real rupture and it was coming to an end. And I couldn't take it. Like, everything associated with that life was too painful for me to address, or too painful for me to even like look at. And so I remember, I think the first year after the separation, or from 2016 to 2017, I didn't listen to any music apart from classical music on the radio. That was it. I couldn't. It was too painful to listen to the radio. Everything related to music was too painful. I couldn't play music. I couldn't do anything. It was like talk radio, classical, I'm good. And then slowly, you know, bit by bit, I was, you know, finally able to get to the point where now I can appreciate it. I listen to the radio, not often, like in general, but I can listen to the radio. I have friends sending me playlists of things, and I can appreciate these guys.
Right.
It comes more from a place of love and appreciation, but I still have that side of me when I see, like, sometimes I'll get requests like, hey, I've got this like 19-year-old girl who wants to do this. Do you want to write for her or coach her or whatever? And it's, you know, she has to have like the whole package. And it just takes me back to that zone of like being really stressed out. And then I can see sort of the industry moving behind this person and everything that they're investing in this person and the weight of that. And I shut down. I go, no, man, music's about freedom. You know, art and creation are about freedom, and you should be able to express what you want to freely. So
I mean,
now I just do stuff for myself. And if it works out, great. If it doesn't, it's no skin off my back anymore. Like, I'm at the age where I officially don't give a shit anymore. I want to do stuff for myself. And if I think it's of value to other people, or it could be, then great.
Yeah,
how about you?
I think you brought up a really great topic here, since you're talking about this. And especially like how you said, like, everyone wants to do, like, especially you want to do what you feel like doing best right now. I think a lot of artists doing that, especially myself, same thing. But the big topic that we just talked about is the taboo. Like, say, you know, if you have kids, or myself, even, I kind of feel like, oh, if you're in a relationship, like, you all of a sudden you lose this, like, I don't know, like,
it's the mystery factor, right?
A double persona is completely gone, I feel like. And that's like such a big taboo. And this is my personal wish, now that COVID happened, is like the biggest reset our industry needs is all this kind of like idea that is like very old. Like, you know, you have to be stay single, or you have to like have this persona that might not be your actual real life, all this thing to like be successful as a musician. And I'm pretty sure that's going to change, hopefully, at least.
Yeah, I hope it changes too, really, because I feel like the truer you can be to yourself and your heart and your feelings and all this, and this has taken me only 37 years to figure out, or to finally get comfortable with. But the truer you can be to yourself and what you love, you know, and, you know, being a good person and all of that, then like the better. But yeah, I certainly don't subscribe to this idea that like I have to be a one-trick pony, or I can only, but that's another problem I had with the industry too. I had famous DJs telling me that I needed to stick with one thing, that I couldn't do multiple genres. And I was like, I had to remind these people that I didn't get into trance music to do trance music. That was by accident. I was doing folk music before. I grew up listening to country music. I did folk music, and that was my passion. But dance music happened to have success. And for that, I am forever grateful. And it's been a great learning experience. And I get to try all kinds of different fields. I've always followed my heart. I just do what I want. So if these people say that I can't do it, then fine. I'm going to do whatever makes me feel good, even if it means I got to be a voiceover artist the rest of my life, which I would be super happy to do because I love this job. It's super fun.
I don't know if this is a controversial question, but a question I was going to ask you. Do you think the music industry, would you like blame it for a little bit of your mental health and stress, like where you were like a couple of months ago, for example?
That's a good question. I mean, I think there's like, if I'm being honest, I'm sure that there's like a part to the whole scenario that I'm really still upset about, and how it functions, and how there's this pressure. Like the other day, for instance, I got a list of new artists. It was like a new artist roster, you know, promoting these dance musicians, and like in the US right now, you know, one of the biggest topics is equality. And like what's really great about living in Quebec, you see a lot when you look at artist rosters. It's like you see so many women and men, and like there's just everybody's there. And I'm looking at this roster and I'm like, okay, why is it just a bunch of like 19-year-old dudes? Like where are the women in this? Where are the, you know? But I've always sort of had that problem with the industry. So if they can change that, that's going to be awesome. And perhaps COVID can help with that. I have no idea. I
mean, there was a little bit of
a feels bad about it still, and like wishes that I would have like stood up for myself more and been like, no, this is not how this is going to work. But at that time I was a different person too. Like I didn't have the backbone that I have now. So it just, I guess, time and age.
Yeah, I mean, talking about more about the industry, I feel like there was a little bit of that was happening in the techno world, and it's still happening, but because of COVID, it's kind of like in a halt, because female, like the demographics kind of took over in techno world, like, you know, Emily Lenz or Charlotte Duetta, all these names, they are the front runners for techno right now. That was one of the reasons I actually wanted to switch sides a little bit to see, because it felt like that scene was way more welcoming to on any kind of, like, you know, gender, doesn't matter, gender, race, or like religion, versus trans. Trans almost felt like, you know, it's just like, it's almost felt like a little bit of a group of island people. You have to be part of it to, like, you know, you have to get this past that to get part of it. Yeah. So
it's funny to say that, but I know it's true that, like, in different genres of music, it's been my experience that in different genres of music, you see different segments of the population, which is cool. Like, somebody should do a study on that. But I actually spoke with somebody who was also doing more techno stuff now. And he said, you know, I love it. This is like, it's so inclusive. Like, you can see anybody and everybody at these shows, like all walks of life. That said, when we were doing a lot of like trance in LA and stuff, we saw like a really, like, a great, like, mix of sort of everybody. But I was also never really that deeply into the industry, because my heart was never only in trance. My heart was like, oh my God, wait, I want to try house. Oh my God, wait, I want to try this. Oh my God, minimalism, chill. Let's do it all. I was too excited by it. So I never got to.
Because last year when I was in Amsterdam, I actually wanted to, like, you know, instead of going to the trance shows. I wanted to go through all these techno shows, like for the ADE, and met like some great people. Like even though they don't really know me, like as like if I go to a trance show, but they were so welcoming. That kind of like made it very special. So going back, continuing on our interview. So you're currently working as a voiceover artist, and you are working on the mental health of you personally. So tell us a little bit about the voiceover gig and where someone can reach out to you if someone wants to do some work with you.
Yeah. So, this is really funny to me because growing up, I hated my speaking voice. I've always hated my speaking voice. I remember, do you remember, was it Gabriel in Dresden?
Yeah, Dave Dresden.
Yes. Okay. So when we lived in LA, I remember being at like a house party. I think it was with Dave. I'm not sure. I don't remember which one because it was like I was super new in my career, and I was just trying to get him to listen to Light the Skies, I think, or Man on the Run. I think it was Light the Skies. No, it was Man on the Run. I know it was Man on the Run actually. And I had a friend who was like also trying to like go to bat for me, and she knew him and was like, "Oh, like you gotta listen to Jaren. Like they have this song out and whatever." And I was like, "Yeah, I really would love to do a collab." And he was like not having it, super not in the mood. And then he finally listened to it. And then he looked at me and he goes, "Huh, that is not the voice I expected, like based on your speaking voice." And I was like, "What's that supposed to mean?" So I never liked, but I truly never liked my speaking voice, but I've always loved acting. And so I wanted to try voiceover stuff. And it's fun because you get to play all these different characters, and you can change it up. And you know how I like to change voices. I like to sing in the styles of like Mariah Carey and Celine Dion and Joni Mitchell and Alison Krauss, Tori Amos, whoever I can, because for me, it's a challenge and it's fun.
Yeah.
So it's a bit the same with speaking. So I've fortunately gotten to work with a lot of really cool companies and stuff. I got to do the ASPCA, some stuff for like Wells Fargo. I did like the Huawei App Gallery, like all kinds of cool gigs, and narrating audiobooks. Although now I get like a lot of requests to narrate erotic novels, which I think are hilarious. And so I decided recently, because I was like, okay, what exactly goes into narrating an erotic novel?
I think it's the whole ASMR thing, isn't it? Like the ASMR. There's like a category called ASMR.
No, I love ASMR. Like I would love to get into that, but that's like more like the
lip
little
sync
sounds and stuff. But you can do it with your voice too.
Yeah.
But so I went on Amazon or on Audible, and I downloaded like an erotic novel, and I couldn't even listen to it without rolling my eyes. I was just like the dialogue, and then you have to hear like the narrator like doing all the parts of the man and the woman and sort of like moaning and stuff, and I'm just like, I am not cut out for this, clearly. It's been fun to explore just the whole industry, that side of it. It's really fun. But if people want to hear what I'm doing, I got to do a really cool Juneteenth Black Lives Matter thing for the NFL Players Association. Super cool. So all of those are up on my website right now, jarensurf.com. And people can like send me an email if they are interested in, if they need a voice. I have all kinds of different voices, so that's awesome. My redneck voice is my favorite, though.
That's from how do you call the town that you're from? Wyoming?
Oh, from Wyoming.
Wyoming.
State? Yeah. Wyoming. Well, I think it's like a mashup of a lot of different states.
Yeah.
But it's my favorite. It's really the most endearing to me.
Another question for you. I know you have mentored and you coach. Are you still coaching songwriters or up and coming singers or songwriters? Are you still up for that, or are you still taking break on that too?
I have maybe one day in the future, maybe in a couple years, maybe I'll get back into it. Right now, I've just been, I can't. I'm just like stuck in that department. But I know, like in my life, I want to give back and I want to be able to help, and if I can, then certainly I'd love to do it. I think most of the coaching that I've done has been more on like sort of the accent side, or on like, because here in Quebec, we have a lot of French speakers, or it's been sort of on the structure side of a song, how to maybe structure a song for, let's say, pop, maybe less than trance. Because also I find the dance music industry changes so quickly. The stuff that was popular, like 4 months ago was now like, oh my God, that's so old. So I just I wouldn't even know where to begin.
No, I mean, that also, it's actually the other way around too. Sometimes a track that came out 5 years ago can become really famous because of TikTok.
That's true. And actually one of my favorite songs currently is the Regard Ride It remix of that 2008 song. I just get that one stuck in my head so easily.
Yeah, I mean, I think the industry is in a really weird spot, but I'm taking it in a very positive way too. Because for example, like the genres are so blended right now. Like even something as techno could be deemed as trance. That's why I don't like to really
little elements of everything.
That's why I don't really like to put like any genres anymore. And that's why I like Spotify over like, the Beatport or any other stores, because Spotify, they let you, when you're like submitting for like, editorial playlists, they like ask you, pick 3 genres that defines your track. And I think that's the best thing ever happened to the industry.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, because I remember like back in the days of MySpace, when it was like define your sound, and I was just like, well, it's like if so and 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 so had a baby, I might sound kind of like that. And I'd be like, nope, that's too abstract. We need like, definitive sound. I have no idea.
So tell us 3 favorite track. I would say dance track, since my podcast, I normally do like an hour mix afterwards, and I try to feature the tracks from the guest speaker that I had that day. So tell us 3 favorite tracks of yours from dance music, particularly maybe house, techno, or trance. It could be like your tracks too.
Of mine or anybody's?
Anybody's.
Oh my God. Mm-hmm. You know how you're talking about the industry sort of going back. Also I'm going back. I'm like been going back in time and going back to the songs that actually got me into it. And I remember Beautiful Things was one of the songs that got me. It was the first song that I listened to that I could understand dance music. Like, because before Matt would play me the songs like to impress me, but he would not get to the good part. He would like play the entire intro and the outro. And so it'd be like, for like 3.5 minutes. And I'd be like, where is this going? Yeah. But when I finally heard that track, I was like, oh my God, it clicked. I get it now.
Particular mix or the original one?
The which one?
Is it like the original mix or the Gavin Best?
Oh, it must have been an original, because this was back in 2005, I think. I forgot. Oh, well, also, what's that? Through the dark trees, Alana, save me. You're so ugly and you're so beautiful. No one on earth.
Yes, I think that's the one. That's also a G&D track. I don't know this one track.
Yeah, so those are 2 that I listened to recently that I was like, those are cool. Okay, and something. I actually went through my actually I'll look right now real quick. I went through my discography because it's long, because I was doing a lot of writing for others. But at the time, I remember there was one. Oh yeah, there was one. Okay, let me see if I can find one second, Jaren. I have my discog hidden.
While you look for that, I remember I picked up one of your vocal packs. Or I think it was a remix contest. I remember there was a remix contest of your vocal. I struggled so hard with those, because there was like
because there are too many now.
Yeah, they were like
somebody just remixed. I don't know. Was it? There was like a remix that just that just happened recently. I can't even stay on top of anything. And to be honest, the only reason I know what has ever come out is because of awesome fans who send me notices and go, "Oh my God, this is out. This is so great." And I'm like, cool.
I had no idea. Yeah. Did you have any other tracks released this year? Was it the track with Andy DeWitt? Is that a new track, right?
Yes. Oh, yeah. That one is a really personal one too. My Thunder. Oh, yeah. That's a really deeply personal one.
Yeah, I remember the 7 track was so good.
I love 7. Okay. You know that I almost nixed that music video.
Really?
Because I think I had just had my son Arlo. I think he was like 6 months old, or maybe a couple, I don't know how old he was, a baby. And Andy sent me this music video and I watched it, and I was already super hormonal and emotional anyways, having just given birth. But then I saw this and I was just like, it's too much, it's too heavy. And I was going to say like, no, this is too much, guys, and not approve it. And I'm so glad that I didn't do that, because I just watched it the other day and I was like, so sad, man. But I thought that's the best music video I think that I've ever been a part of. I wasn't even a part of it.
Well, I remember you didn't want to be part of the Heart music video, but now everyone really loves that music video.
That's awesome. Oh yeah, because I'm like, I'm always busy, or I'm always burnt out or something. It's yeah. Well, the one with
the one that we got you to send us like video clips, because we were in 2 different cities.
Oh yes. Because I was just having a job change and we were changing locations and moving, and that was super stressing me out. I actually, instead of going to a studio, I had used our location as we were moving. I had like 2 hours between moving locations, and I was like, hang on a second, grab the makeup, grab the dress, got this.
Yeah, it was good. It was great. I think Liam talks about that still. So.
Oh, that's awesome. But I like the new one that you did though with the lavender fields. I just visually, it's so stunning. I really love it.
So I've been actually working towards like, producing music videos of my own. So got that kind of like nailed down now. And there's this website called Pexels. I don't know if you know this. It's basically all footages, like stock footages. So all these independent artists comes together and they submit their videos and pictures. And this guy named Cotton Bro, and he is from Russia. And then he like posts all these crazy footages. And he has this entire collection of this lavender with the interracial relationship. And I think that was amazing. And it was like perfect. Like the moment I saw it, I was like, you know what? It fits with our track.
Yeah, I would just like to have that like on a projection, like on my wall, just for like the color therapy and stuff. Like,
so how about we play the 7 track? Because since we love that, both of us love that track. Awesome. Well, Jaren, thank you so much for this interview. I'm pretty sure there's going to be a little bit of, buzz about this, because since we talked so many
hey, everybody, go to my Instagram, because I'm just not doing, that's the only place I'm alive digitally.
All right. Okay, so I'll stop the recording.